The invisible constructor. Alice sat on the floor surrounded by colorful plastic bricks. She was building a castle. A tall blue tower, red walls, yellow gates. It's sturdy, isn't it? She said, pleased with herself, and tapped the plastic wall with her fist. Solid, solid, a teasing voice rang out. What if I told you castle is just a cloud of tiny spheres hanging in empty space? The moon cat sat atop of the castle's tallest tower. Surprisingly, the fragile structure didn't even sway under his weight, as if he weighed nothing at all. You are joking, Alice frowned. It's plastic, it's solid, there are no holes in it. The cat jumped down and rolled a single Lego brick towards Alice. Look, Alice, you build a castle out of bricks. If you take the castle apart, you'll have a pile of pieces. But what if you take a brick apart? What is it made of? Alice turned the brick over in her hands. Well, plastic, just a piece of plastic. And plastic is made of atoms, the cat's eye gleamed. The whole world is a giant constructor said. Everything you see, this brick, your table, the water in the glass, the air, and even your own nose, all of it is assembled from invisible bricks. They are called atoms. The cat switched his tail and the room transformed. The walls vanished. Alice saw the brick in her hands suddenly begin to grow, expanding until it was the size of a house, and she saw that it wasn't smooth, it was made of billions of trembling spheres holding onto each other with invisible hands. They are so tiny, Alice thought that more of them could fit on the tip of one of your hairs, and there are people on the entire earth, and they never stand still. They are always trembling and dancing. So I am made of constructor set too? Alice whispered, examining her hands. Yes, you are the most complex and beautiful castle nature has ever built, the cat said gently. The most amazing thing that the bricks are almost identical for everyone. The atoms you are made of and the atoms I am made of, or this brick, or a distant star, they are all the same. They are just assembled according to different instructions. The vision vanished. The brick became small and solid again. Atoms are immortal, Alice. When something breaks or burns, the atoms don't disappear. They simply scatter and reassemble into something new. Perhaps the atoms in your left heel were once part of an ancient mammoth tail, and the atoms in your eyelashes flew here from a comet. Alice reverently placed this brick back. It suddenly seemed to her that the world around her was no longer just things, but a magical mosaic living its own secret life. Are we all relatives? She asked. Me, the cat, and the brick. On an atomic level, yes, the cat purred, settling down to sleep on the rug. We are all stardust assembled into different shapes, and now sleep, my little collection of atoms. May your particles dream colorful dreams. Alice fell asleep with a smile, imagining invisible masters assembling dreams for her from shimmering specks of light. The dance of the invisibles. In the evening, Mom brought a cup of boiled milk with honey to Alice, room to help her sleep better. Alice sat there, blowing on the steam rising from the cup. It's strange, she said thoughtfully. Right now the milk is liquid, but if I put it in the freezer, It will become like a storm, and this steam, it just flies away. Why is all of this same milk? The steam above the cup suddenly swirled into a graceful spear, and from it the mooncake materialized. He hung in the air, right above the mug, light and transparent like a small cloud. It's all about the dancing, Alex, he whispered, his voice making the steam tremble. Remember atoms, those teeny bricks that everything is made of? Well, their behavior depends on the music. What music? Alice looked around. It was quiet. The music of heat. Temperature is the volume of the music for atoms. The hotter it is, the faster the music. The kid landed softly on the table and drew an ice cube on a napkin with his claw. Look, when it's cold, the music is off. The atoms freeze and want to get warm. They hug each other tightly, stand in even rows, and hardly move. They latch onto each other for their life. This is a solid or ice. That's why you can't poke your finger through ice. The atoms are holding hands too tightly. Alice nodded, and the milk. And here the music plays slowly and smoothly, like a waltz. The cat said, waving his tail gracefully. There is more heat now. The atoms have let go of their hugs. They still close, but they no longer stand still. They slide past one another, dancing and flowing. This is a liquid, that's why milk pours and takes the shape of the cup. The cat flew back up to the steam above the cup, and if you heat it up really, really high, the music becomes frantic, rock and roll. The atoms go crazy with energy. They let go of hands, push off from each other, and fly away in different directions at great speed. They need a lot of space. This is a gas or steam. Alice looked at the cloud of steam melting near the ceiling. So they run away to dance in the sky? Exactly. The atoms are the same. It's just that in piece of ice they sleep in an embrace. In water they walk hand in hand. And in steam they fly like birds. The cat yawned, and the yawn felt like a light breeze. You, Alice, are also warm and soft right now, but it's time for your atoms to calm down. Let's turn the music down, let them stop running and get ready for sleep. Alice finished her milk, feeling the warmth spread inside her. She imagined billions of tiny little people inside her stopping their fast dances, tucking themselves in comfortably and falling silent. "Good night, dancer," she whispered, burying her face in the pillow. "Good night," the cat replied. "May your dreams the lightest, airiest dreams." Alice was already in bed, but she hadn't turned off her nightlight. She was examining the cord that snaked from the lamp to the wall socket. "How does it work?" she asked into the empty air. "Is the wire empty inside, or does a glowing liquid flow through it? How does light squeeze through such a thin tube?" "Careful," a cautionary whisper echoed. "Don't step on the highway." Alice saw the mooncat walking right along the nightlight's cord, balancing like a tightrope walker in a circus. His paws glowed, and wherever he stepped, the wire inside began to faintly shimmer blue. "It's not a tube of water, Alice, it's a high-speed rod. Right now, billions of tiny, invisible runners are racing along it. They are called electrons." "Electrons," Alice repeated. "Are they alive?" The cat jumped onto the bedside table and sat next to the lamp. "Not exactly. Imagine tiny sparks living inside the copper wire. Usually they're lazy and just sleep, but when you plug the cord into the socket, a big power station gives them a kick. Alice giggled. Yes, indeed. The station pushes them, and they start running one after another, pushing their neighbors, passing the energy further and further along. It's like 1,000 ants passing a bait into each other. This ray is called electric current. The cat tapped at the light bulb with a claw. When here in the lamp, the road becomes very narrow and difficult. The electron runners have to squeeze, push, and rub against each other. This friction makes them hot, so hot that they start to glow. That's how light is burned. From the diligent work of the little runners and the switch, Alice placed her finger on the button. Is it an emergency brake? It's a drawbridge, the cat explained. When you press the button, you break the rod. A gap appears and the electrons can jump across. They stop and the light goes out. They wait until you build them a little bridge again. Alice looked at the thin white cord with respect. She suddenly imagined a whole swarm of tiny, tireless fireflies humming inside, beneath the rubber skin, ready to run at the first command so she could read her books in the light. They must be tired, Alice said. They've been running all evening. It's good for them to rest, and for you too. The cat gently covered the switch button with his paw. Let's break the little bridge. Let the river stop. Click. The room plunged into the darkness. But now the darkness didn't seem empty. Alice knew that little guardians of light were sleeping in the walls. Good night, electrons, she whispered. Good night, Alice. Tomorrow morning they will come running again to warm up your kettle. The cat's voice purred, fading into the silence. Invisible springs. Alice was sitting on the kitchen floor playing with magnets she'd taken off the fridge. She held two black discs in her hands. They're strange, she mumbled. Like this, they snap right together. But if I flip one over, she flipped a magnet and tried to push them together. But they wouldn't. It was as if an invisible rubber cushion had appeared between them. The harder Alice pushed them more, the magnets resisted, trying to slip away sideways. Who's pushing? Alice wondered. There is no one there, just a force, a pure echoed from above. The moon cat was hanging right on the fridge door. He wasn't holding on with his claws, but simply stuck to the white metal with his back, like a fluffy magnet. That's magnetism, Alice, the invisible hands of nature. The cat unstick himself from the fridge, flipped in the air, and landed softly beside the girl. Every magnet has two poles, two personalities. One is called north, the other south. They're like fuzzy friends, different poles, north and south, love to hug and attract each other. But identical ones, north and north, can't stand each other. They repel. It's the invisible tug of war you are feeling with your fingers right now. Alice tried again to join the identical sides. The magnet slipped away and sprang back. Can you magnetize wood? She asked. No. The cat shook his head. A magnet only likes special metals, iron for example. It senses them from a distance and pulls them close. Suddenly, the cat became serious. His eyes widened and looked like two compasses. And do you know who the biggest magnet in the world is? Your home, our planet Earth. Earth, Alice looked at the floor, but I don't stick to it with the metal bits. It's a huge but very kind magnet. Earth also has two poles, the north where polar bears live and the south where penguins live. And between them, invisible threads are stretched. If you take a tiny magnetized needle and float it on water, it will turn by itself and point north. The cat drew an arrow in the air with his claw. That's how a compass works. It always knows where to go because it hears the call of the enormous magnet Earth. It's like an invisible guiding thread that keeps sailors and travelers from getting lost. Alice took the two magnets and finally joined them with the correct sides. Click, they hugged tightly. So the world is held together by invisible threads, Alice yelled. The whole world is woven with them, the cat whispered. Even birds feel Earth's magnetic fields and find their way south with their eyes closed. And now it's time for you to find your way to sleep. Your pillow attracts you more strongly than any magnet. Alice went to her bedroom. She felt as if the air around her hummed faintly with secret forces that help ships sail and birds fly. "Good night, big magnet Earth," she whispered. "Good night, Alice. May your inner compass always point towards your dream," the cat replied, fading into the moonlight.
The Secret of the Bone Headphones, Sound and Voice. Alice was sitting on her bed with her mom's phone. She pressed the record button and loudly and expressively recited. "By the seashore a green oak stands, a golden chain upon that oak." Then she pressed stop and played it back. From the speaker came a thin, squeaky, unfamiliar voice. "Ugh!" Alice exclaimed, upset, and tossed the phone onto the blanket. "That's not me. My voice is clear and pretty, but this sounds like some little mouse squeaking. The phone's broken." "The phone's fine," a purr rumbled. It recorded everything honestly. The mooncat sat on the nightstand, thoughtfully scratching behind his ear with a paw. "It's just that you, Alice, are the only person in the world who hears your own voice differently from everyone else." "How's that?" the girl frowned. "Do I have wrong ears or something?" The cat softly jumped onto her lap. "Let's check. Put your palm on your throat, right here, and say a long zzz." Alice obeyed. She wrapped her hand around her neck and buzzed. Zzz. "Oh, that tickles." "Do you feel the vibration?" the cat asked. "Sound is the vibration of air. When you speak, your vocal cords in your throat vibrate like guitar strings. They push the air, and those air waves travel to other people's ears. That's how they hear you. And the phone hears you exactly the same way, through the air." "What about me?" Alice asked. "Well, you have a secret. You hear yourself in two ways at once." The cat gently tapped Alice's forehead with his paw. "The first way is the usual one, through the air, into your ears. But the second way is internal, through your bones. Your skull is like the walls of a concert hall. When your vocal cords vibrate, that vibration travels directly through the bones of your head to your inner ear. The bones make the sound rich, low, and deep." Alice tapped her own head. "So I have bone headphones inside me?" "Something like that. You hear a mix. sound from the air, plus bass from your bones. That's why your voice sounds deeper and more grown up to you. But the phone, and everyone else around you, only hears the air without the help of your bones. That's why on recordings your voice sounds thinner and higher. Alice picked up the phone and played the recording again. The squeaky voice began reciting Pushkin's poem once more. "So everyone hears me like this?" she asked sadly. "Like a little mosquito?" "Not like a little mosquito at all," the cat comforted her, nudging her shoulder with his head. "To them, that's your real, natural voice. They're used to it and love it just the way it is. It's only you who's surprised because you're used to your own concert hall inside your head." Alice sighed, but now with a smile. "Okay, so I have a voice for everyone and a voice just for me, a secret one." "Exactly. Your inner voice is always with you when you read silently or think. Now, let silence fill the room. The sound waves need to settle down." The cat curled up into a ball, covering the phone's speaker. The room became very, very quiet. Alice closed her eyes and listened. Now she knew that even when she was silent, inside her, her own unheard melody of pods was playing. "Good night, my secret voice," she thought, without moving her lips. "Good night," the cat silently replied, right inside her thoughts. The secret of the white ray, color and rainbow. Alice lay in bed, turning a glass pendant in her hands. It had fallen off an old chandelier. It was a clear crystal with many facets. "I'm bored," she sighed, watching the moonlight pass through the glass. "Everything's so grey and black and white at night. During the day, the world is full of color, but at night, it's as if the colors are switched off." "The colors don't go anywhere," a familiar voice purred. "They just hide, and I can show you where." The moon cat sat on the edge of the table. He caught a moonbeam with his paw and directed it straight onto the crystal in Alice's hands. "Don't move," he whispered. Alice froze. The beam of light struck the glass, refracted, and suddenly a bright, shimmering rainbow bloomed on the white sheet. Red, orange, yellow, green, blue, indigo, violet. The colors were so vibrant it felt like you could almost touch them. "Wow," Alice gasped. "Where did they come from? There are no colors in the crystal. It's transparent." "Not in the crystal. The colors were inside the white beam," the cat explained. "Do you think sunlight or moonlight is just plain white?" "No, Alice. A white beam is like a treasure chest, tightly packed with all the colors of the world." The cat touched the rainbow on the sheet with his paw. "Imagine 7 colorful gnomes holding hands and running so fast that they merge into a single white stripe. That's what we see as white light. But when this running beam crashes into glass or a drop of water, it gets too crowded." "And they let go of each other's hands?" Alice guessed. "Exactly. The glass forces them to scatter. Red is the strongest and laziest color. It runs almost straight. While violet is the quickest, it veers off to the side the most. That's how they separate, and we see them all individually. This is called the spectrum." Alice twisted the crystal, and the rainbow danced across the wall. "So A rainbow in the sky is the same thing? Yes, after the rain, millions of tiny water droplets hang in the air. A sunbeam passes through them, just like through this crystal, and breaks into 7 colors. The sky builds a huge, colorful bridge for us. The cat stopped directing the light, and the rainbow vanished. It was dark and cozy once more. "Now you know the secret," the cat said, settling onto the pillow beside Alice's head. "The world isn't grey. It's just that there's not much light at night, and the gnomes run too faintly for our eyes to distinguish the colors. But they are here. Your red dress is still red in the dark. It's just waiting for morning to shine." Alice placed the crystal under her pillow. She liked to think that tomorrow morning the sun would once again bring her millions of invisible rainbows hidden within its white beams. "And black?" she asked sleepily. "What is it made of?" "Black is silence," the cat whispered. "It's when all the colors have gone to sleep, just like it's time for you." The Great Transformer. Alice lay on her bed, spread out like a starfish. Arms and legs splayed. She was so tired from the day, running in the park, riding her bike, and jumping rope, that she couldn't even wiggle her little toe. "That's it," she sighed. "My batteries are dead. My energy is gone. Completely." "Energy never disappears, Alice," a cheerful voice chimed in. "It just loves to change its clothes." Mooncat leapt down from the wardrobe. Unlike a weary Alice, he was brimming with energy. He nudged a small rubber ball, which had been lying in the corner, towards the bed. "Watch this," the cat said, batting the ball with his paw. The ball hit the floor. Thump! Bounced high, then lower. Thump! Even lower. Thump! And finally it rolled across the floor and came to a stop. "Where did the ball's bounciness go?" the cat asked. "It was full of energy, flying up and down, and now it lies still. Has the energy disappeared?" "It probably just ran out," Alice whispered. "No, it transformed," the cat's eyes gleamed. "This is the main law of world magic. Energy is the great transformer. It cannot be born from nothing and cannot disappear into nothing. It only changes its costumes." The cat placed a paw on the ball. When the ball hit the floor, it gave some of its energy to the floor. The floor got a little warmer from the impact, so movement transformed into heat. And did you hear the sound? Thump? That's energy too. Movement transformed into sound. The ball stopped bouncing because it distributed all its power, a little for heating, a little for noise. "What about me?" Alice asked. "I ate a sandwich and an apple today, and now I'm tired. Where did the sandwich go?" "Oh, that's the most interesting magic. Chemical energy is hidden in food. Your tummy unpacked that gift, and the sandwich transformed into your running and cycling. And your running warmed you up. You got sweaty, didn't you? And turned into the wind you created." The cat gently touched the girl's forehead. "Do you know where the energy in the apple came from?" "From the sun. The sun gave light to the apple tree. The apple tree made the apple. You ate the apple and ran off to play. So all day today you've been running on a solar battery." Alice smiled. It felt good to think that she hadn't just gotten tired, but had transformed her lunch into fun, laughter, and warm wind. "And now?" she yawned. "What happens when I sleep?" "Now you're going on charge," the cat purred. "Your body will store up strength for tomorrow. The energy hasn't gone anywhere. It's just lying low, ready to transform back into jumps and games tomorrow morning. Alice closed her eyes. She imagined she was quietly humming like a small, cozy power station accumulating light. "Good night, great transformer," she whispered. "Good night, sunny girl," the cat replied.